Welcome to Business Over a Brew, the show where we talk business with some of the Riverbend's most interesting and influential business people, all while enjoying a nice brew at Elijah P's Burgers and Brews in Alton. In this episode, we'll talk to Dwight Werts, President and CEO of Werts Welding and Tank Service. Dwight will share with us how a business that his mom and dad started in their basement has grown into a national company. So let's get to it. It's the Business Over a Brew podcast from Elijah P's. All right, welcome to Business Over a Brew.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the invite.
No problem. Dwight, thanks for joining us. And your business, Werts Welding and Tank Services, really has an amazing story in terms of where it started to where it is today. So you can just start with a quick kind of storytelling of the business.
Yeah, my mom and dad started off on a farm east of here in Edwardsville, just south of where Holiday Shores is at now. And they had a welding business. He operated out of the basement of the house. And then they moved to the garage. And in about 1957, Gilbert Helmkamp of Helmkamp Construction encouraged my dad to move his business to Wood River because there was a need for that type of welding, and there was nobody down here to do the work. So he moved the business in 1957 to Wood River. And about early in the 60s, there was 3 refineries. There was Sinclair, Amical, which was Standard Oil then, and the Shell refinery. And there was a big influx of tank trailers. And we had a customer that hauled fuel or oil out of Shell Oil. And Shell, when they were purging the lines, they used hot caustic. And they didn't get all the hot caustic out of the line. And they put it in an aluminum tank. And hot caustic on aluminum was like a hot knife through butter. Right. And it just burnt the bottom of the tank out. So they asked my dad to weld a new bottom in it. So we welded the bottom in that tank. And then they burned a tap out of another tank. We repaired that. And then we started doing more and more tank trailer repairs. Because people knew that we could do that. And then as we started needing repairs, we needed parts. So we started buying more of these trailer parts, and we got set up with different vendor lines, and we needed to repair these parts. And people found out we had these parts, and we started selling them across the counter. And we expanded. We had a nice facility here, and then in 1991, we acquired a company in San Antonio, Texas, and opened a facility there. And then 97, we opened we bought a company that had 3 facilities: Birmingham, Atlanta, and Tampa. And they expanded to 3 more locations. And then we opened a facility in Des Moines about 10 years ago, and one in Billings, Montana, and then now we have one in Denver. So we have 8 locations around the United States.
So 8 locations all around the country. Obviously, that's probably not what your dad envisioned when he started the company in '57 and moved it to Wood River. And he served in World War II, and you started the company 1977. So
yeah, I come and went. I worked there all my life. I went to work there as after high school every day, and then all summer jobs. Mm-hmm. And so it was my life. I grew up there. So that's what I was used to doing. And I took a little hiatus and thought I wanted to work for somebody else. And I drove a semi over the road hauling tankers for about 3 years, and figured out that's not what I want to do with the rest of my life. So then I come back to the family business in '77, and I've been there ever since.
And I think it's great that even though you've grown nationwide, and there's a lot of places that you could be in terms of where your corporate headquarters are, but you've elected to stay here in the community in the Riverbend.
Yep. We're attached here. I married a gal from Godfrey. I never got out of Godfrey. I grew up in Roxana. I went to Roxana High School. We lived in Rosewood Heights. So this is our home, and we're going to stay here. So all our friends, all our families here, and my kids were raised here. So both kids went to Marquette High School. So.
And they're involved in the business now?
My son is. He's been through every aspect of the business. He started off in the shop. He went into shipping, receiving. He went to inside sales, outside sales. Now he's in trailer sales and learning management. And my daughter wanted to go into hair and makeup, and she has a successful business called Brush, which is in Godfrey, and she's done real well for herself. So she's got her own business, and that's what she wants to do, and she's done very well at it. So,
looking back, what were a couple of turning points in the business in terms of Just where you can look back and point to here's a time when this particular point in time really led to the success of where we are now.
Well, a lot of it has to do with you have to have the trailer lines, and we're like every car dealer would have to be like a Chevy dealer or Ford dealer. We picked up several product lines on tank trailers, and that really put us into the business so that we sell a new, used. So we have trailers that we lease, we have trailers we rent. We're kind of a full service facility, and getting into the trailer business, it gives us access to the used equipment as well as the new. So we service the accounts from start to finish. If you ever buy gas at Casey's, those tankers that pull in there, every Casey trailer, we have sold them since 1991. They're a big account of ours.
Sure, right.
And they've got 13 states and 2,000 gas stations. They're a big account for us.
How does the client acquisition process go for you guys? Because it's a little different than obviously just your average retail shop.
Well, each one of our locations has an inside manager and an outside sales, and some have more than that, depending on their territory. And these gentlemen are out calling on customers in our business every day, and they know who the players are, and they're there to service them. That's basically door-to-door sales and relationships. I mean, there's just so much that you can't do over the internet. It has to be a relationship.
Right. So you're trying to go out and be with them face to face and build those relationships.
We have trade shows. We have huge trade shows that we have to attend every year. We probably do 20 different trade shows because every state oil jobbers association has a trade show. We're a member of National Tank Truck Carriers, which is the national organization for tank truck carriers. So there's a lot of times we're at trade shows, and you just be in the street.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's the most challenging aspect of the business today? I mean, it's been around for a while, but obviously there's still new challenges every day, I'm sure.
Well, our success is from good people, our health.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of, our average tenure is over 12 years, even with our new acquisition, new hires. We have a lot of 25, a lot of 30, and some 35-year-old employees. But they're getting to the point where they're wanting to go home and fish and golf and finding the people to replace those people. It's you need a special type of person and finding the help. You can find the buildings, you can have the equipment, but you got to have the help.
Right.
So
I talk to so many business owners about that challenge and about the challenge of managing, younger people, millennials, whatever you want to call them, and because it's different. They bring different things to the table, different strengths and different weaknesses. How have you guys been able to adapt to that?
Well, I went to a seminar on hire millennials, and it scared the hell out of me. Because I'm thinking, how are these people going to work in our business? You have to have a strong work ethic. Our people, we have a lot of salespeople that work out of their house because they're not located near the facility. They have to be self-motivated and have a goal. And we're trying to get those people to have that motivation and that goal to succeed. It's hard to do that. But we're a family business, and we work for our employees. We've got employees that have been around, like I say, 25, 30 years. And we know everyone by name. They're not a number, and we try to work for our employees and make them loyal. There's a lot of loyal people. So
I think any successful business, there's been points in time where obviously there were trials and tribulations that you had to go through and overcome to be successful. Can you point to a couple that, looking back, you think, there was a time when I just didn't know how we were going to make it past that, and we did, and we're better for it?
Oh boy. I'm trying to think of which one that would be, but we've had some good people that maybe retired, and you wonder how am I ever going to replace them. But we've had good luck. We've had people come in and fill the void. So I'd say the biggest problem is when people leave, they take a lot of knowledge with them, and you just trying to get that knowledge back.
Sure.
Into somebody else.
Sure. Just a couple of quick questions. If you were giving advice to a young entrepreneur starting a business today, what would a couple sage words from Dwight Werts be?
Well, I'd say treat your employees like family. And if you treat people right, they'll treat you right. If you treat them wrong, you can't expect them to work for you. You can't expect them to be loyal. So treat your people right. So.
And finally, last question I like to ask people: if you could have dinner with 3 other people, alive or dead, who would it be?
Wow, You should have given me a
Should have given you
sketch.
some prep for that.
Oh, I don't know. Abraham Lincoln. I like to sit down and talk to Abraham Lincoln. I think. I don't know who the other two would be right off the top of my head.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate the time. Next time I'll prep you for that question.
Okay.
And we'll start keeping track of the answers and see who wins.
Okay.
Dwight, thanks a lot
Thank
for
you.
joining us on
Thank you
Business
much.
Over. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for the beer.
Sure.